Now that you know how to compute your titration data, you know how to quantify your analyte, let's go to characterizing and identifying your analyte. So this time we will talk about what we call titration curve. So titration curve is basically a plot of your pH. So you have pH on the y-axis and the volume of added base on the x-axis. And what is interesting in your titration curve is that it has a distinct shape. And we can identify several regions in this titration curve. We can determine the pK of your analyte using the titration curve. And if you are curious how we determine the indicator that can be used for a certain titration experiment, we use the titration curve for that. So, how do we generate a titration curve? So, basically, you have this setup, you have your analyte in a beaker, and then if you are familiar with the magnetic stirrer, so you have a magnetic stirrer placed inside your analyte solution, and then this is placed on top of this magnetic plate. So the magnetic plate is usually combined with the heating function. So usually these plates have a heating function and a magnetic steering function. So of course we don't want to heat our solution, so you just turn on the switch for the magnetic steering. There's another switch for the heating, so it's just turned off. Okay. So you turn this on and your little magnetic stirrer inside the analyte solution will start stirring. So it's important that we stir the solution every time we add a small amount of our titrant so that the titrant is evenly distributed throughout the solution and we don't have local concentrations of your titrant in this solution. Next, of course, we have our burette, which is set, the tip of the burette set to, so that the titrant will fall inside our analyte solution. So you have the stopcock here. Okay. And of course, the most important part of our setup is the pH meter. So you have, if you haven't seen a pH meter, so you can search for the photo of a pH meter. So you have a probe. So this probe is the one that detects hydrogen ions in any solution. So you have the probe there. And then it's connected to a display screen. So in our lab, so it looks like a tablet. Let me erase these lines. So it looks like a tablet, and then you have the base there, and the tablet, and then your probe. So it has a stand connected to our tablet. And then, of course, it has wires connected to our interface so that its detection of the hydrogen ions is displayed as pH on the tablet. So as we add amounts of our titrant, we keep track of the pH, and then we form the plot of pH against the volume of the titrant, and we generate this titration curve. Now, theoretically speaking, we can also perform calculations to generate a titration curve, and that will be discussed in the next video.